back, dear listeners, to another haunting installment of Days of Our Dice. When last we ventured into the moonlit streets of Drakestide Cove, our stalwart heroes found themselves beset by necromancers in a crumbling cemetery, dark rituals underway, forbidden scrolls stolen, and Thalia Duskwhisper rescued at the final hour. Amidst the carnage, Krothar Cloudwatcher forged a perilous bond with the sentient blade Gravesunder, while the enigmatic Cordelia Blackthorn cast her ever-watchful eyes upon his fate. Yet victory came at a price, for a traitor lurks within the company's ranks, their treachery threatening to unravel all that stands between Drakestide Cove and the encroaching shadows. Now, as we step once more into the tangled night, tensions run high and alliances remain perilously fragile. Dawn breaks over Drakestide Cove, its golden fingers creeping through the weathered stone of the company tower. Inside his chambers, Krothar Cloudwatcher stirs from troubled dreams, his massive frame casting long shadows across the floor. The events of last night's cemetery battle linger like spectres in his mind, but nothing haunts him more than the memory of a voice, cold and ancient, emanating from the blade now resting against his wall. Crothar rises slowly, muscles aching from yesterday's combat. His eyes never leave the dark metal of Gravesunder as he dresses himself in silence, the question burning in his mind. Was it real?
Perhaps I've taken one too many blows to the head.
The Goliath warrior approaches the weapon cautiously, his weathered hand hesitating before grasping the hilt. The metal feels unnaturally cold against his palm as he lifts the massive blade, preparing to slide it into its sheath.
Brave Crothar, what glorious work shall we accomplish today?
Crothar freezes, his suspicions confirmed. The sword speaks not through sound alone, but through a cold presence that seeps into his mind like frost on glass.
So it wasn't a dream after all. Well, Gravesunder, we shall see what the day holds. Though I believe your Mistress Cordelia and I are due for a conversation about what manner of gift she has bestowed upon me.
Gifts come in many forms, champion. Knowledge, power, purpose. I offer all three.
With visible unease, Crothar secures the blade across his back, its weight somehow both familiar and foreign. The corridor outside is quiet as he makes his way down the spiral staircase toward the kitchens, guided by the scent of fresh bread and sizzling meats. The common room is nearly empty at this early hour. Gnarly Shadowleaf sits alone at the long oak table, her normally nimble hands moving with careful deliberation as she navigates her breakfast. The bandages around her midsection are fresh, a reminder of her recent encounter with a shape-shifting assassin. Across from her, Valyria Little Horn Gloomfire stiffens noticeably as Crothar enters.
Well, look who finally decided to join us. Sleep well with your new companion?
Without waiting for a response, the young tiefling sorceress drains her cup with a deliberate swallow, her eyes, normally warm with friendship, now sharp with suspicion. She gathers her dishes and stands, the chair scraping harshly against stone.
We need to talk. Soon.
She disappears into the kitchen, leaving a tense silence in her wake. Gnarly looks up from her plate of eggs and mystery meat, her expression a mixture of concern and relief.
Good morning, big guy. You look like you've seen a ghost. Or worse, talked to one.
Something like that, little cat. Something very much like that.
As Crothar sinks onto the bench across from Gnarly, Gravesunder's presence looms between them. An unseen third party to their conversation, silently observing, silently hungering. The common room's relative quiet is broken as Malveth enters, flanked by the Shadar Kai twins, Kaelin and Lyra. Their synchronized movements cast them like shadows of one another, their pale features nearly identical, save for the thin scar crossing Kaelin's left eye. Malveth's priestly robes bear fresh stains, evidence of his night tending to the wounded. His eyes brighten at the sight of Crothar.
Crothar, my friend. Good to see you up and about. That was quite the display of prowess last night. I've been thinking we should pay a visit to the City Guard headquarters today. After what happened at the cemetery, they'll need proper warning about these necromancers.
Gnarly looks up from her plate, her cat-like eyes narrowing with interest.
Count me in. I may not be at my best, but I'm tired of lying around. Besides, I'd rather face honest guardsmen than stay here waiting for complications.
The kitchen door swings open as Valyria returns, deliberately avoiding Crothar's gaze. The tension between them hangs palpable in the air.
Little Horn, will you join us at the guard headquarters? They should hear from someone who actually witnessed what these cultists are capable of.
Valyria pauses, her tail flicking in agitation. She turns, her expression carefully neutral.
I'll be staying here. Jack and I need to have a conversation about his green bumblebee friend, the one that nearly killed Nolly. I want answers, not excuses.
Kithri appears at the doorway, her armor glinting in the morning light. She leans against the frame, arms crossed, her posture deceptively casual despite the alert sharpness in her eyes.
I'll join Little Horn for that particular discussion. Someone needs to make sure the tower is still standing afterward.
The twins exchange glances, a silent communication passing between them before Kaelin speaks.
We will provide additional support should the wizard choose a less diplomatic response.
We excel at ensuring cooperative conversation.
An uncomfortable silence settles over the room as the implications sink in. Kithri straightens, looking around with sudden realization.
Speaking of our mysterious leader, has anyone actually seen Jack today?
All eyes turn to Nali, who sets down her fork with deliberate care.
I heard him leaving at sunrise. Tried to follow him. Professional curiosity, you understand, but he was gone before I reached the door. Like smoke in the wind. A slippery wizard, that one. And frankly, I'd rather not be here when you corner him about his little green friend. I've had enough assassination attempts this week.
Unease ripples through the group. Their tasks for the day suddenly feel weighted with greater significance, each path potentially leading to uncomfortable truths about their leader and the company itself.
I'll tend to Thalia in the infirmary before we leave. Poor woman's been through enough. A healing spell or two might help her remember more about what she saw, who betrayed the company. Was it really all in Felbraid?
As they rise to prepare for their separate missions, the sword on Crothar's back pulses with subtle eagerness, as though anticipating the day's possibilities. The company tower, once a sanctuary, now feels filled with shadows and whispers, and not all of them belong to their enemies. The company tower's infirmary is a modest chamber bathed in morning light. Malveth enters first, his priestly robes rustling softly as he approaches the lone occupied bed where Thalia Duskwhisper lies motionless. Behind him, Little Horn hesitates at the threshold, her tail nervously coiling around her leg. Lyra follows last, her silver-white Shadakai hair catching the light as she moves with practiced efficiency toward the medical supplies.
She's still asleep. That's good. The body heals best in rest.
Malveth sits carefully on the edge of Thalia's bed, his weight barely disturbing the mattress. The dark elf's white hair spills across the pillow, her dark blue face rests against the white sheets. Beneath the blankets, bandages peek out, some stained with the telltale red-brown of old blood.
Lyra, help me redress these wounds, would you? And you, young one, could you bring me those green salves from the cabinet? And the blue potion, second shelf.
Little Horn approaches the cabinet with noticeable discomfort, her fingers hovering uncertainly over various bottles and jars. Her usual confidence has evaporated in this unfamiliar role.
This one? No, maybe this one?
As Lyra and Malveth carefully peel back Thalia's bandages, Little Horn draws closer, holding the requested supplies. Her eyes widen at the sight of her injuries. For a moment, something strange flickers across Thalia's sleeping face, an expression almost like satisfaction before returning to the mask of pain and exhaustion.
By the gods, they tortured her for information?
She has endured much, young one, but she will survive this trial, as we all have at one time or another. The body remembers pain, but also how to heal.
Lyra works methodically, cleaning a wound on Thalia's shoulder. The sleeping elf twitches suddenly, a small hiss escaping her lips. But her eyes remain closed, unnaturally still beneath their lids.
This reminds me of when Malveth found us.
Found you?
My brother and I. We were patrolling the Vale of Shadows. It's our homeland, you see. Hobgoblins ambushed us. Strange to find them there, really. Almost as if something had guided them to us. Kaelin was better off than me. He carried me for miles. my blood marking our path through the mist. The nearest sanctuary was a shrine to the Raven Queen. That's where we met Malveth. We stayed on as guardians of that shrine. That was many years ago now. We're family now. Malveth's the older brother we never had.
You two have been a blessing to the shrine. You've served the Raven Queen well. I'm the one who's been honored.
Malveth turns to Little Horn, who's awkwardly holding fresh bandages, still unsure how to help.
Just as I'm honored to have met you and Crothar, our journeys together have only just begun.
Little Horn startles, nearly dropping the bandages as Kithri steps into the doorway. The Githyanki warrior moves with unexpected grace, her normally imposing presence softened without her heavy armor. A ghost of a smile plays across her green features.
Not many can hear me when I don't wish to be heard, priest.
The Raven Queen teaches us to listen for those who walk between worlds, my friend.
Thank goodness you're here. I'm useless with all this healing stuff.
How is she?
She'll recover. The body can endure much, but she has been through a lot.
Where? How long have I been?
4 pairs of eyes lock onto Thalia's face, unaware of the ancient malevolence watching them from behind her wood elf features. The spider in their midst, weaving her web one careful thread at a time. In the distance, a bell tolls the hour. And now let's pause for a brief moment. The dice are in motion, but before they land, let's take a quick detour to talk about how you can help keep the adventure alive.
Even the bravest adventurers need to rest. But while our heroes catch their breath, you can help keep their journey alive. Step beyond the story and join the adventure at daysofourdice.com, your portal to all things Days of Our Dice. Explore our treasure trove of exclusive merch, support the show on Ko-Fi or Patreon, and help forge the next chapter of this epic saga. Your support keeps the dice rolling, the fireballs flying, and the legends growing. So whether you grab a shirt, sip a Fireball blend coffee, or simply spread the word, know that you're part of the story. Now, let's get back to the adventure.
In the infirmary, Thalia Duskwhisper's eyes dart from face to face, confusion mingling with something deeper, more calculating. These strangers surrounding her bed wear the insignia of the company, but most are not familiar to her.
Who are you people?
Malveth steps forward, his gentle healer's hands folded before him. Sunlight catches the silver emblem of the Raven Queen adorning his robes.
Peace, friend. We are your allies from the company. Different chapters than your own, but allies nonetheless. You're safe now, back at headquarters.
He places a hand on her shoulder. At his touch, a visible calm washes over Thalia, her breathing slowing. For the briefest moment, her skin seems to ripple beneath his fingers, almost like something else wearing an ill-fitting glove, before settling.
I remember you. From the cemetery. You were there when I...
The scene shifts to the ground floor of the tower. Heavy boots announce Crothar's return, accompanied by Nali's lighter footfalls. The massive double doors of the main entrance swing open just as they reach the common room, revealing Jack Moonstrider. Tall, silver-haired, his wizard's robes immaculate despite whatever morning errand claimed his attention.
Jack, good to see you, old friend. Hungry? I was just about to force some more breakfast on Nali here.
Jack, good to have you back.
Nali's words catch in her throat as she remembers the green bumblebee, the assassin that nearly ended her life. Her smile falters, but Jack doesn't seem to notice, his attention already elsewhere. Kalen slips in behind Jack, his Shadakai features revealing nothing of his surveillance. He exchanges a meaningful glance with Krothar, a silent confirmation that Jack's morning path remains a mystery.
Morning, all.
He accepts a plate from Crothar and slides onto the bench beside Nali, whose tail now twitches with nervous energy.
Where are the others? Thalia, is she awake?
Upstairs. Malveth and the others are tending to her.
Without another word, Jack moves to the staircase, taking the steps 2 at a time. His usual measured grace gives way to something more urgent, more personal. Back in the infirmary, Thalia's head suddenly turns toward the door, seconds before any sound is audible.
He's coming.
The infirmary door swings open. Jack Moonstrider stands frozen for a heartbeat, his silver eyes locked on Thalia. Kithri and Little Horn step aside as he rushes forward, dropping to his knees beside the bed.
Thalia, you're alive! By all the gods, you're alive!
Their hands find each other, fingers intertwining with the familiarity of old friends, or perhaps something more.
I never thought I'd see you again. I held on to the thought of you when they...
It's over now. You're home. I swear by everything I am, I'll never let you out of my sight again.
Across the room, Kithri's expression hardens. She exchanges a glance with Little Horn, whose tail now lashes with nervous energy. Malveth's hands begin to glow with a soft blue-white radiance. The air thickens as he murmurs an incantation, ancient words of truth and revelation.
I'm sorry, Jack. Zone of truth. No deceptions now, old friend.
The magic settles around them like invisible cobwebs, clinging to skin and soul alike. Jack's hand tightens around Thalia's as he looks up, confusion giving way to understanding. Behind him, Kithri moves to block the doorway, her previously concealed sword now gleaming in her hand. Lyra retreats to the far wall, her own daggers appearing as if conjured from shadow. Little Horn backs away, unprepared for the sudden tension crackling through the room.
What is this, Malveth?
A chance, Jack. A chance to explain yourself with words rather than blood. Tell us about your green friend from the rooftop, the one who nearly killed Gnarly. Tell us who you truly serve.
Kithri's stance shifts subtly, the deadly promise in her eyes unmistakable. These are the eyes of a warrior whose blade has tasted the blood of kings and monsters, even if the whispers are true, a demi-goddess.
What have they told you?
But Thalia's face has gone blank, her eyes darting between Jack and the sword in Kithri's hand. For just a moment, something inhuman flashes across her features, not fear, but calculation, ancient and cold.
Jack, what have you done?
Time seems suspended as Jack Moonstrider, wizard, leader and now suspect, looks from face to face, weighing his next words carefully. The truth magic hums around him, leaving no room for lies. Whatever he says next will change everything. The blue-white glow of Malveth's truth spell bathes the infirmary in ethereal light. The tension is palpable as Jack Moonstrider sits beside Thalia's bed, both now ensnared in magic that will accept nothing but honesty. Malveth steps forward, his priestly demeanor unwavering despite the gravity of the moment.
I apologize for the rudeness, but I believe we've had enough deception. Jack, tell us about the green shapeshifter, the one who nearly killed Gnarly. And Thalia, what do you remember about last night? About the cemetery and the Order of the Eclipsed Hand?
Jack meets Malveth's gaze steadily. Within the spell's influence, his shoulders relax, almost relieved to speak freely at last.
The green shapeshifter is called Glimmerwind. She works outside the company's official structure, an ancient member of the Order of the Aurelian Scales. One of the most deadly, I might add. She's a wild card at the best of times, but her power extends across realms. Under normal circumstances, Glimmerwind is cordial. But if she suspected Gnarly was a spy...
Jack's voice trails off, his expression troubled.
So what you're saying is, if she doesn't know you, you're worthless to her? Not even worth keeping alive?
Jack's eyebrows knit together as he weighs his words carefully, bound by the truth spell to speak nothing but his honest assessment.
It's not that she would consider you unworthy of life. Rather, you simply wouldn't register in her worldview or the Order's mission. Not yet, anyway.
How harsh. To view lives as so inconsequential.
I don't excuse her behaviour. I was unaware of the true cause of Gnarly's injuries until now. I am truly sorry for Glimmerwind's actions. She can be disconnected from mortal concerns.
Kithri, still blocking the doorway with her drawn blade, narrows her eyes. The Githyanki warrior's green skin seems to darken with intensity.
That's all well and good, Jack. But you haven't answered why you were reporting our movements to her, or who she answers to in this chain of command.
In for a penny, in for a pound, I suppose. The Order of the Aurelian Scales runs the company and many other elements within Athoria. We are merely one finger on the Order's hand, executing their will in this realm.
Jack sighs deeply, glancing at Thalia, whose face remains unreadable. A heavy silence falls over the room. Malveth strokes his chin thoughtfully, eyes widening with recognition.
I've heard that name before, in ancient texts.
As have I. The Order of the Aurelian Scales recruited my band of outcasts from the Astral Sea years ago. That's how I joined the company. But as I have learned in all my years in the Order, most groups and members are not aware of each other. That explains why I don't know of this Glimmerwind, and only heard of Arcalium, and never known them to be members of the company.
Malveth turns to Kithri in shock, re-evaluating everything he thought he knew about his companion. Meanwhile, Thalia shrinks back against her pillows.
Jack, what is all this? The company is just an adventurers' guild, isn't it?
Yes, Thalia. The company is an adventurers' guild, and yes, Kithri, Arcalium and Glimmerwind are not members of the company. Glimmerwind reports only to Valen Dareth and Arcalium, the Black Mage. She moves throughout the realm undetected, gathering intelligence.
Arcalium? The wizard Krothar, Nali, and Jelani saw rescuing his kidnapped apprentice when we first arrived?
Little Horn relaxes slightly as pieces fall into place. At the doorway, new shadows appear. Crothar, Kaelin, and Nali have arrived, their expressions frozen in shock as they catch the tail end of Jack's revelations.
And Wormrex? Is he also a member of this order?
Kithri nods silently as Jack confirms with a wave of his hand.
Every regional company boss is at least a lower member of the order, myself included. Some, like Kithri, operate with a level of independence within the structure.
Malveth leans back, a slow grin spreading across his face. He exchanges a knowing look with Kithri, who winks back at him. Two players recognizing each other in a game far larger than it first appeared.
And now that you all know about the Order's oversight of the company, congratulations. You are all officially members of the Order of the Aurelian Scales.
In the doorway, Crothar's massive frame shifts uncomfortably. Nali's tail twitches with agitation, while Kaelin remains perfectly still, absorbing every word.
I hope this revelation doesn't change your minds about your mission with us. It has happened before. Evander Pennington, Rook, as you know him, left the company when he learned of the Order's influence. He felt betrayed by the secrecy. His departure left him vulnerable. The Circle of the Whispering Shadows, led by the sharp-dressed man, found him. They've always sought to destroy the Order, they and whatever master the serve.
Jack pauses, his eyes distant, remembering old losses.
Unlike the Order of the Eclipsed Hand, who seem concerned only with their necromantic obsessions, the Circle is a direct threat to everything we stand for.
The revelation hangs in the air like a storm cloud, forever changing the landscape of trust and purpose within the group. Knowledge once given cannot be taken back, and each person present must now decide what to do with the truth they've been handed. As Thalia lies in the infirmary bed, her eyes grow distant. The present fades away as her mind retreats into memories, or perhaps something else pulls her back to that terrible night. The night when everything changed. Chaos engulfs the lower levels of the company tower. The halls once filled with camaraderie now echo with screams and the clash of steel. Thalia, Dusk Whisper, and Haldor Grimhold, a stout dwarven paladin, fight desperately toward the main entrance. Behind them, the Order of the Eclipsed Hand pours into their sanctuary like a plague, let in by someone they had trusted.
They're everywhere. Haldor, we can't...
Keep moving, lass. The door's just ahead.
In the Great Hall, the massive half-giant Brega Stoneheart swings their warhammer in devastating arcs, creating momentary clearings in the sea of undead. Their eyes lock with Thalia's across the chamber, just as skeletal hands, dozens of them, reach out from the shadows. Bone-white fingers clutch at Thalia's limbs, her torso, her throat.
Brega! Help!
Thalia feels herself lifted, carried aloft by a wave of grasping, clutching bodies. Some wear tattered robes of the Eclipsed Hand, others are bare bone or stitched together horrors, abominations that blur the line between living and dead. Brega reaches out one massive hand but then hesitates. Brega withdraws, returning both hands to their warhammer. Behind them, Draven Hallow, a crimson-skinned tiefling, guards their flank with sweeping motions of his rapier. His free hand releases blasts of eldritch energy that momentarily illuminate the horror surrounding them.
Thalia! Hold on!
From across the room, Elira Moonshadow, the half-elven bard, frantically gestures, her slender fingers weaving patterns of silvery light.
Thalia! Grab on!
A spectral hand materializes near Thalia, reaching for her, but it dissipates as Elira herself is overrun. Thalia glimpses the bard disappearing under a wave of cloaked figures before she loses sight of her companions entirely.
Thalia! Elira!
No. Get back here with them, you bastards.
Suddenly, a powerful hand grips Thalia's wrist, wrenching her from the clutching horde. Bones shatter as her captors are beaten back. She stumbles to her feet as a sword is thrust into her hand.
Take this! Stay close!
All in Felbraid, the gnome fighter, stands before her. Beside him, Haldor Grimhold has fought his way to them, his mace blazing with divine light that causes the undead to recoil.
The front entrance. Now! It's our only chance.
The three companions hack a desperate path toward the main doors. Thalia's silver blade finds purchase in decaying flesh and brittle bone. They reach the massive oak doors just as a fresh wave of cultists surges from the lower levels. The sudden pressure of bodies propels Haldor and Thalia through the doorway and out into the cold night air. But as Thalia turns, she sees Orlin's expression transform from determination to horror. His hand slips from hers as the tide of undead pulls him back.
Thalia, Haldor.
Orlin vanishes beneath the mass of bodies like a man dragged beneath dark waters. One moment there, the next. Gone. Thalia feels a sharp pain bloom in her side. Warm wetness spreads across her tunic, and looking down, she sees crimson flowing freely from a deep wound. The world tilts unsteadily.
Shields of light protect us.
Haldor's mace flares with blinding radiance. The pursuing horde recoils, giving them precious seconds. He grabs Thalia's arm and pulls her into the labyrinthine streets of Drakestide Cove.
Run, dear girl. Don't look back. Keep running no matter what you hear.
They flee through the twisted alleys, Thalia's consciousness fading with each step. Haldor periodically lifts her body when she falters, his dwarven strength keeping her moving despite the blood trailing behind them.
I think we're losing them.
As they round a corner, Thalia's peripheral vision catches movement in the shadows. Something green and glowing streaks past her head. A second blast strikes Haldor squarely in the chest, sending him sprawling to the cobblestones.
Haldor!
Thalia stumbles toward her fallen companion. Ahead, figures in Viridian cloaks materialize from the darkness, their masks gleaming in the moonlight. The circle of the whispering shadow has found them.
Haldor, get up! Please!
As Thalia reaches for Haldor's unmoving form, something massive descends from above, a presence darker than the night itself. She senses rather than sees it, an entity so ancient and malevolent that reality itself seems to bend around it. A voice like countless whispers speaking as one fills her mind.
The queen of the demon web calls for you, little elf.
Before Thalia can scream, absolute darkness engulfs her. The last thing she remembers is the sensation of falling endlessly, plummeting through webs of shadow into an abyss from which there is no return. And somewhere in that darkness, 8 eyes watching her descent with ancient hunger.
The queen of the demon web calls for you, little elf.
In the infirmary bed, Thalia's eyes snap open. A single tear traces down her cheek, but whether from grief or something else entirely, none can say. As shadows stretch across Drakestide Cove, the truth proves more dangerous than the lies that came before. The company stands divided by revelation, the Order of Aurelian Scales watching from above, the Circle of the Whispering Shadow lurking in darkness, and the Order of the Eclipsed Hand weaving death between them. But within these walls a greater danger stirs. Behind familiar eyes, ancient hunger waits. The web has been spun, the pieces positioned. Thalia's memories, or what remain of them, point to betrayal from within, while something watches from behind her gaze. What horror awaits as Crothar wrestles with Gravesunder's thirst? What whispers will Jack Moonstrider share about the shadowy forces converging on Drakestide Cove? And what unseen mistress pulls the strings of puppets who believe themselves free? The darkness gathers. The players assemble. And somewhere in the shadows between worlds, the Queen of Spiders smiles. Brave adventurers, your journey through the realms of Ethoria has only just begun. The echoes of battle may fade, but the call to adventure rings eternal. Will you answer that call? Will you delve deeper into the mysteries that await, unravel the secrets of the Drakestide Coast, and face the darkness that threatens to consume all? The choice is yours, hero. Don't miss a single moment of this epic saga. Like this video to fuel the fires of adventure, and subscribe to our channel to ensure your place among the legends of Ethoria. Hit that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop. Until next time, may your critical hits be many and your fumbles few.